Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for July 18, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to have a reverse aging health call and all the rest tomorrow night, Friday, at a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Imagine creating your own self-commandments. Like the first one, and I've shared this before, would obey no orders except those from within. The next one, the only God is life itself. Third one is truth is within, do not look for it elsewhere. And the next one is love is prayer. And emptiness is the door to truth. It is the means, the end, and the achievement. Life is here and now. Live fully awake. One of my favorites is do not swim, float. Another good one is die each moment so that you are renewed each moment. Stop seeking that which is stop and see. See, we can, instead of following the old programming of this planet, on this planet, for countless millennia, we can direct ourselves. We can form, just like these, self-commandments and follow them. Because in actuality, it is the God that we are within that's directing that. It's like a Machi quote. Love is our true essence. Love has no limitations of caste, religion, race, or nationality. We are all beads strung together on the same thread of love. To awaken this unity and to spread to others the love that is our inherent nature is the true goal of human life. Doesn't it seem like for a long time we've gone in an opposite direction, away from that? See, when we realize, truly so, in the heart-mind, when we are the God, when we realize that, just like the wave realizes that it is the water, then we will be truly enlightened. No ifs, ands, buts about it. We have there's nothing that can be given to us. How can something be given to us when it is already us? We contain it all. And the interesting thing is that we're on that discovery. It's by choice. Some of us will get, and I wouldn't call it waylaid, I would say distracted in life. And so we follow a certain direction. And when that body is done, we leave. Now ask yourself this question. And from your heart mind, how attached are you to that body you're in? Totally honest with yourself. There's no reason not to be. You might get a sinking feeling or fear because that tells you, that there's a definite heavy attachment there. What usually keeps us in the body? Curiosity. Many of us feel that we're going to miss out. That kind of a fear comes in. You're going to miss out. You say to yourself, you can't leave now because you've got too many things you want to do. And what you've had a whole lifetime to do. Why is that there? Well, it is there because we aren't sure at all of who and what we are. That will give you an understanding of where you're at with the God that you are, and realizing that this life, this material physical life, is temporary. Many of us won't look at that, but embrace it. It's just like this. Die every moment so you can be renewed every moment. That sounds strange to some people. And when we talk about enlightenment and all of these other understandings, comprehensions, when we talk about that, it's kind of like some of us believe that, well, you've got to find it out there. It's out there somewhere. And like enlightenment finds us. See? And we are enlightened beings. But we have this illusion of disconnection. So we all experience suffering in this life because of that, one little thing. Ignorance. It's a big one. We all experience suffering in this life because of one little thing. Ignorance. Now, if you take the word ignore, add a little dance to it, you get ignorance. When we ignore the truth of our infinite being, our ignorance expands and soon transfers us onto the path of suffering. To transcend your ignorance and find spiritual freedom in your life again, the intention for a deeper awareness is needed. We must welcome the most profound state of consciousness we can imagine. And that's by simply opening up to our own consciousness. We can release anything instantly that would make us suffer. Nothing more than pure awareness is needed to transcend this illusion and rediscover the liberating truth of who we are. Each moment of our lives has the potentiality to become the most liberating, healing, enlightening experience we can handle. The more open and ready and willing we are to receive something magnificent, the easier and faster the magic comes flooding in. When you're ready for enlightenment, it'll find you. Everything finds us. It's all within us. And we're always learning. It's like be open to the new and release your ego's need to be right about anything. Can you do that? Ask yourself if you can do that. Where the ego doesn't tug at you, and or someone says something and you go, That's wrong. You say this to yourself to begin with. That's so wrong. And then that ego tugging, see? And then it motivates you to say, well, you know that's wrong, don't you? And then the other one says, well, how do you know that's wrong? You say, well, I just know it's wrong. See, and being right can be the hardest ego trip to get off of, because we get that ego tug all the time, and yet causes a major amount of suffering. Now, the master and commander has been the ego mind for a very long time. And if it believes it is wrong about any one little thing, it starts feeling insecure that you basically could be wrong about everything in your entire life. See, whatever that tricky little mind believes is true always becomes our reality in that moment. The colored lens we perceive our world with today becomes how the world tends to appear for us tomorrow. If everyone around you from birth to death says that life is this hard, painful, unfair experience, and you believe them, then how will you ever learn how to relax, let go, trust, and enjoy living in this amazing universe? How long have we heard in the programming dribble? It's just like some of us go, well, if we think we must fight to get what we want in this life, we end up manifesting a very serious, challenging ride. To experience love, enlightenment, and freedom, we must choose to step over our ego and be open to a completely new experience of this life in each moment. Our inner and outer world is one massive playground. Learn how to be free and have fun within your life. Think of each new day as your chance to step on a very interesting and comical life stage. You can choose any hat to wear, lens to see through, or fascinating role you desire to play. Many of us do not practice simply being, letting go of doing, and practice simply being. It really is. And we could just watch this. We're not judging it. We're watching it. It's how most of the time we learn. It's like on this planet, in this very now moment, it has become abnormal for people to just relax. Sit still. Be silent and alone. You notice that? So what's our so-called societal norm? Constantly doing. Constantly doing. The majority of people on this planet, they avoid meditation because they think it is boring. Don't have the time for it. I'll get to it, but I just don't have time right now. or feel they have failed at it trying to quiet their mind after a few random attempts. We will, all of us, eventually, will realize that all of our suffering, chaos, and illness in this life is caused by our inability to quiet the mind. We will spend more time practicing being present and less invested in doing something, thinking it will take us somewhere better than being here. Practice being in the now. May have you noticed that when you go into yesterday and tomorrow, it's easy because you just kind of wander off and you find yourself, off into the future somewhere. And of course, that's the ego mind. So we direct ourselves back to the now, because it's all we have. Do we really care to suffer in yesterday and tomorrow with the ego mind? I believe we've done that for a long enough time. I don't believe we really care to do that anymore. See, because the longer, because eventually when we spend enough time practicing being present to the now, we discover our real infinite nature inside. And we realize we are spiritual beings and have everything we were looking for and so much more. By being quiet, content with oneself. See, when we have, some of us are going to have a big awakening happen. And it'll be when we're not trying to do anything. This is pretty much the great mystery of this life. The mastery of the mind is by far the greatest achievement any of us can ever have. The experience of being here now, feeling one with the infinite, all-powerful and omniscient universal God force is enough. It is empowering, highly enlightening to redefine all those old definitions of what it means to get somewhere special in your life. A huge thing for us as we progress is being free from our family's unconscious myths and this society's deep, ignorant programming. See, we've had now education, if you want to call it education, awareness, by anyone on the key subjects. Did anyone ever tell you anything about, your chakras, meditation, communicating with God? Did anyone when you were growing up? Probably most everyone around you was more or less spiritually lost. It's very true. And then telling you what they believed would make you happy, loved, and successful in this life. They wanted the best for you. Yet ended up communicating to you how to be unhappy, unenlightened through their actions, belief system, and behavior. How do we become what we become? It's through our programming. It's like, how did that being become a murderer? Or how did that being become addicted to cocaine or whatever? Or this or that? It's the programming. I mean, when you really review it, and you go back and think about your childhood, what do you remember was the typical standard story you were told? We were all told stories. We were all told stories. Right? And since we had we didn't have a reference library at the time to compare, right? And most of us were told the story, just about all of us, that would make us feel like a failure, isolated, unloved, or a sense of separation, right? And what belief system did we inherit from our family that created massive limits on how we feel about ourselves in life today? They're all the things we were told. And what did we do? Well, we listened, right? We didn't have any other reference, like I've said. Well, that must be true. Yeah, we were told all kinds of things. Yeah. You need an education to become somebody. You got to get educated. You really do. If you don't get educated, you're going to be dumber than a stump out there. Got to get an education. All kinds of avenues about education. There just isn't enough time for anything, is there? We don't have time for that. You know, listen to all these things. We are all familiar with them. We all were kids at one time. Still are in some ways, which is good. You know, it's like a little kid, you're growing up, mom or dad says, we can't afford that. You cannot be, do, or have whatever. You're just too much of a blah, blah, blah. Now, as children, we're all pretty darn gullible. Yet, if we did not become identified with our family's limited belief system, we may not be here. See, this is how, if we didn't think like they did, they might have stopped feeding us and pushed us out of the tribe. We needed to think small, do what we were told, obey the one in charge in order to remain accepted, loved, and alive. This was our thinking as children. We're like this empty, this huge open vessel as children. And from the moment we enter these bodies, we all began to receive the idea that this unenlightened state of life was the norm. The norm. We were children growing up. You know, we did look at the TV. Most of us did, right? Till some of us started getting wise. And we've seen, we were able to see all the insane world problems on the nightly TV news. And we thought that this was how the entire world operated, and mass suffering was just the way things were. As we became teenagers, we either rebelled or became assimilated into the unenlightenment system. Because that's what it is. It's an unenlightenment system. Well, how do we know that? Well, look at our society. Look at it right in this now. Look at the morals, the ethics. Look at our codes that have just gone everywhere. Look at the self-respect. Look at how we treat each other. Not only that, look how we treat ourselves. We've been living into it's an unenlightened system. everywhere you look, right? And so, like we become teenagers, we either rebelled or we became assimilated into that unenlightened system and fell deeper into the story of separation. The more we accepted or rebelled from our community, the greater our feelings of lack, isolation, and struggle grew inside. Being surrounded by unenlightened people was an enormous lose-lose situation. Now, to make matters worse, this is us as kids, as I'm explaining, generically, all right? To make matters worse, we were forced to attend some jail-like education system. Do you remember, did any of us really love and enjoy this educational system that they slapped on us? Did we? Oh, there might have been a few things that were fun, but for the most part, did we really? Now, this jail-like education system worked about 3% of our brain's potentiality. Isn't that ridiculous? And was designed to churn, like butter churn, right? Once brilliant, creative kids through a social formatting grinder, so they became what? Hard workers for the system. Hard-working people. We were taught wonderful lies that everyone believed to be true. Which is crazy, okay, this is we were told that, and everyone believed it to be true. Like human life expectancy should only be 75 to 100 years. Our DNA can last at least a minimum of 300 years. And if you go way back and you start reading some of the ancient texts that haven't been messed with, a lot of us lived to be 1,500, 3,000 years. We were told that we would have to work really hard. Didn't we? Weren't we told that? You have to work really hard to have a home, limited energy, resources, food, knowledge, and power. We were never taught to rebel against authority, think freely, independently, or even consider the possibility of becoming spiritually enlightened. We've been existing in an unenlightenment system for millennia, many millennia. And this, whatever you want to call it, that we grew up in, the school system, it made it illegal to teach children how to find a deep inner connection with the infinite source. It was not important to learn how to meditate or heal your body through your breath. How to make tantric love master your mind through daily total quietness and stillness. Enjoy all our emotions. Know the infinite truth of who we are. Or how to achieve absolute inner freedom and bliss. This society, all around us, is still hypnotizing adults and their children to believe that success is all about achieving a higher level of status, money, and career. Our poor education system is still in its very, very early infancy and simply has never had a large dose of enlightenment, so it doesn't know any better. Now, we know there are many all awakened beings in the world today who know the truth, that real success in life is defined by how liberated, spiritually rich, loving, and enlightened we are as human beings. This world is slowly waking up. People, and we've seen it, we see it, this is great. People are beginning to see what happiness, that happiness is not something you can attain from striving to achieve the right income, status, career, marriage, or diploma. Striving to reach these things will only distract you from walking your spiritual path and discovering the most rewarding life experience of them all. Remember, whatever limited ideas that we've received from our family or school system, remember this always, were their limitations and not yours. Whatever limited ideas that you received from your family or school system were their limitations and not yours. When we stop and give back those beliefs, we can reclaim our spiritual freedom again within ourselves. Now, these limiting beliefs handed down from our family run deep in our blood, and it will take every ounce of awareness inside of us to see them. Freedom will occur when they are fully seen, felt into, and released from our mental, emotional body, as well as our subconscious mind. We must choose to forgive all these people of their unenlightened programming if we are ever to be fully free. It is all karmic. And really, come on, what they taught us, they were taught, and so on and so forth. Nobody's to blame. They simply were not taught by their parents how to live in a constant state of wonder and amazement in their lives, while doing daily tasks like changing diapers, cutting the grass, going to work, paying their bills. When we forgive them and see how they were not raised by full self-realized, self-actualized, enlightened beings, we can easily forgive ourselves for the limiting beliefs and negative feelings about ourselves that we inherited. This is why I talk about in these meditations in the guided beginning that there's a lot of other people's thoughts that come into us every 24 hours. It's nonstop. It's like I keep saying, it's over 60,000 a day. They're not our thoughts. See, this is why we talk about mastering our thoughts. This is why we talk about practicing being in the now as much as you possibly can. This is why we talk about being in deep, eternal gratitude 24/7. This moves us into a higher lightness and frequency. We're able to forgive all things, and move on and up. Most of us will hang on to things. I mean, we hang on to them until we leave the body. Served us no real purpose at all. Most of us on this planet, we hide from our spiritual power in some little safe place. We can often hide from our life mission and spiritual purpose in our mind. Thoughts are safe, right? While real life experiences out there seem dangerous, scary, and unsafe. Life is inherently insecure. See? Life is inherently insecure because death is always potentially around the next corner. We might find it easier to not take risks and go for our big dreams in life for fear of getting hurt or lost in the wild ocean. That stops a lot of us. Really does. When we only choose to stay safe, comfy, which is basically you might as well be dead, inside our little comfortable places of old habits, we only do the things that once gave a sense of confidence and security and stop growing completely. See, this life, it is this beautiful natural chaos with a divine cosmic structure. Our lives are this daily adventurous roller coaster ride that we need to learn how to enjoy. Life is meant to be fun because we just don't know exactly how things will turn out, do we? We won't know until the last second how we will respond to what someone says, do we? Or how we'll make the most important decision we need to make. Each experience in our lives is here for our spiritual growth. Each boring, exciting, or normal experience is meant to expand us, help us see and feel the entire ocean around us now. And yes, jump out of our safe little place and swim in the ocean of existence. It is easy to do. What do you do to do this? Simply stop thinking about your life and actually start enjoying the one you're living, feeling, and breathing in now. Join in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take a slow and easy breath in through the nose. And a slow and easy breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Your life is always on target. All is well in your world. Yep. Last time I checked, all is well in the whole world. And yet, if you could breathe just a bit deeper in your belly, I think you'd be able to feel it. Let's stop identifying with all these worrisome thoughts. Who you are is beyond thought. Pay attention to that. Focus on what is real. And the only thing is real, remember, is the God that you are. Remember that you are guided by divine forces beyond your rational human understanding of existence. And yes, everything is guided in every moment, even when your mind is freaking out and you're so worried about the future. Something underneath the surface is still guiding you every breath of the way. Just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here Friday, July 19, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening outside of you or within you. Open your heart. Let the magic flow in.